Yep, no problem. You figure it out?
You did, thank you.
Yep. Here you go.
Okay.
All right, and then Teresa, I'm actually gonna have you sit on the outside so I can
Okay.
get a look at you, be more hands-on with you.
All right.
All right. So let's see what we got here so far.
Not much.
Oh, you're fine, not a problem. Hey, filling it out's half the battle. I know even when I go to the dentist now, it's still just...
There you go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
I just went about 6 months ago and I filled in the wrong area and I ask my patients to do this all the time and I can't even do it right. All right. So what I need from you is just, this is just a HIPAA Privacy Act. All this tells our patients is that obviously we can't share any of your information with any outside source.
Right.
So we have you sign that for us and then I'll go through the rest with you, no problem. How's the weather out there today?
Nice.
Is it nice out there?
Mm-hmm.
Is it windy?
Not too bad.
Not too bad?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
I was
telling you.
just looking at all the weeds amongst my flowers.
Oh, it's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's terrible when that snow finally goes away and you realize how bad it is.
But the green grass is certainly welcome.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree there. Like I said, mowing the yard and stuff is things that I actually take for granted when I have to do it over the summer.
Yeah.
But then when the snow comes, I go, yeah, I'd probably rather be mowing the yard than shoveling my driveway.
For sure.
All right, so I'm just going to ask you a few questions. Do you go by Teresa or is there another name?
Teresa.
Teresa, okay. I'm just going to ask you a few questions here. All right, just answer it as best you can, all right? Is this your first hearing screening?
Yeah. Well, it's been a long time. Long
Okay.
time.
All right. Are you experiencing noticing or hearing difficulties?
No.
Okay, good. Any ear surgeries or anything in the past?
No.
Which ear do you hear better out of, your right or your left?
Same,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Are you hearing any ringing noises or anything?
No.
Buzzing?
No.
Okay. Any acute or chronic dizziness that you're experiencing?
Well, yeah, I just had heart surgery.
Okay, how long
A couple
ago?
months ago, February.
Okay, any stents put in?
Pardon me?
Do you have any stents put in?
No. February 2nd.
Okay. Let's see here now. So, dizziness? Right.
It's improving.
Good. Hey, that's always a good sign, right? And any ear infections as a child or adult?
No.
Family history of hearing loss?
Yeah.
Have you been exposed to a lot of noise in your life?
Not really,
No.
no. I'm past that stage.
Trauma to the head? Concussions? Anything like that? Okay. Drainage or discharge coming from your ears?
Not.
All right, good. And pain or discomfort? All right, perfect. So, give me a better idea of what's going on with everything. This kind of gives me like a history background on what's going on. Finally, I want to figure out your lifestyle. So I just ask you a few questions just about, how you're living day to day, things like that, okay? Just answer through the numbers 1 through 3. All right, 1 is seldom, 3 is often, okay? Actively working and need to communicate with many people throughout the day.
No.
So that's about what, a 1?
Oh, I'm sorry, 1.
And most people say no on the first one. Most people say no. Yeah, just 1 is seldom, 3 is often, 2 is in between.
Yeah.
All right. spend time at loud activities like sporting events or concerts?
1.
Okay. Large parties or busy restaurants?
1.
All right. Go shopping or spend time at public places?
You sure do?
2.
See, I got your conscience over here on your right shoulder. Religious gatherings?
Yeah, 1. Is that often?
No, 3 is often.
Oh, I'm sorry. 3 then.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Work or social meetings where you're needing to communicate?
3.
3?
Yeah.
All right. Quiet restaurants?
Probably 1. We make the noise.
There it is, right? Hey, nothing wrong with that, right? Nothing wrong with bringing a little life to the party.
That's right.
Small group settings, like between 2 or 3 other people.
Pardon me?
One-on-one settings?
No, 1.
Okay. And quiet home activities?
I probably gave you the wrong number there at the beginning, because I thought that was...
No, that's not a problem. If we need to go back to it, we'll be able to figure it out, right?
Okay.
My addition skills, maybe it will add up to what it was supposed to be anyways, right? Okay. All right, so pretty much what we're going to do today is I'm just going to really talk to you about what's going on. I am a hearing specialist, okay, so I'm going to diagnose what's going on with your hearing today, whether it be good or bad news, okay? Before you came in today, did you do any research about what we exactly do as hearing care health providers?
Well, I was interested in getting my ears clean, because it's been a few years. I usually go, every 2 or 3 years, but I haven't been.
Okay.
So, it's probably 3 or 4 years that I have them really professionally cleaned.
And just because it's a question I ask all my patients, just like you get your teeth cleaned and your eyes checked every few years, why has it taken you so long to get your hearing checked?
I don't know, just lack.
You're good at hearing, though.
Yeah, I had no problems hearing or anything. But,
no, I understand that.
Yeah, but I thought, well, she has hearing aids, my other sister had hearing aids, and so I thought, well, I like to take advantage of free offers.
Yeah, it's not really so much my interest in devices as much as it is where your hearing's at is really what we're after. A lot of patients don't realize, how important their hearing is. So we always like to just tell patients, getting yearly checkups for your hearing is always beneficial. Okay. Just like, right now I don't think there's anything wrong with my teeth, but it doesn't prevent me from going to get my teeth cleaned every 6 months.
Right, yeah.
Things like that, because being the one lucky person in my family that got very strong teeth, I don't want to get a cavity. Don't want to get a cavity yet, so I keep up with it,
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to make sure that we take care of everything for you today. We're going to check out those ears that need cleaned out. We'll definitely see if we can take care of that for you.
Okay.
Okay. A little bit of research just about us is we are an individual audiology practice. Okay. What that means is we are affiliated with several hospital branches in the area. Okay. Like myself, I work in this office as well as at Jefferson Regional.
Oh.
Okay. Our practice has been around since 1949. Okay. We've been based out of the Pittsburgh area since then, and we are headed by an audiologist, our senior audiologist, I should say. All right, so again, really what we like to focus on is making sure that we take care of our patients. Okay, 7 different specialists that work in this field with me. All right, we see about 100,000 patients every year. Okay, a lot of that is due to the annual testings. All right, the yearly testings that we encourage patients to take advantage of. All right. Now again, what ends up happening is patients usually are curious of how we get involved in a field like this. Especially myself, where I don't have any problems with hearing or anything like that. My grandmother, when I was younger, I lived with her when I was going to school, high school and college. And one thing that was very, very noticeable to me was the fact of how bad her hearing has gotten over the time. With myself, it was kind of one of those situations where it sounds like you're a complete opposite, but with her, we noticed she had a hearing loss right away. Okay, and at first it was funny, you know, you'd say something and she'd think it was completely different than what you said. Over time it continuously got worse. Not only did her hearing get worse, but it affected other areas of her health as well. Her falling rate increased, all right, as well as it definitely led to the problem of onset dementia and Alzheimer's, all right, because with those areas, we didn't realize that hearing has more of a profound effect than just what sounds are sounding like. Okay, so again, it became one of those situations where it was a laughing matter. We thought it was funny to, okay, she's removing herself from social settings. She doesn't feel comfortable anymore, and she was, quite frankly, embarrassed. All right, so again, that's really how I got involved in what I do. Is I was one of the people who thought that it was just her old age that was why she was limiting what she was doing. So I'll put myself in that category. But after that all happened, I realized that there's more to it than that, and so I'm very passionate about what I do in that aspect.
Okay, can I ask you, where did they get my name?
You know, honestly, I just work here. I have no idea. I mean, they send out.
I thought maybe they went through the hospital files.
It's possible.
You know, cause
it's possible.
I haven't done it for.
It's very possible. I mean, you know, if I knew, I would tell you.
Yeah.
It's just like how credit card places get mine and automobile places get my address.
They sell your name.
Oh, I'm so well. Great then. I'll get my name sold then.
Yeah.
But I want to see a commission or something off of it.
That's just like religious organizations. You know, they sell it. You donate to 1 or 2, and then you get 10.
Oh, I know all about that. My grandmother was very adamant about all that, and so that's all their mail that they get half the time is bills and like a bunch of that just nonsense mail. Yeah, as my grandparents called them, the nonsense mail.
Yeah, well, the veterans too. You know, they send every month because you send a donation one time. And then every month it's something different or the same thing that you just paid for.
Well, of course. Well, of course.
So I check my checkbook, and if I've already paid them once during the year, then they don't get no more.
There it is. Hey, you gotta be adamant about it.
Oh, hey.
Or else they'll nickel and dime you.
Nickel and dime you. Yeah.
So I honestly don't know how they got your name. Obviously, you're just so gosh darn lucky. See, that's how you got to come in. You got to come in and see me. See, that's how it is.
That's okay.
So what I'm going to do, I am going to take a look inside your ears.
Okay.
Do you have any questions for me before we get started and everything?
Not really. You've been pretty forward with everything. Take my glasses off.
Oh, you keep them on. Yeah, the only thing I'm worried about is if the light goes through the other side, then we might have a problem.
That could.
A little bit of a collapsed canal in there, so spin around for me. Nothing serious, it's just the elasticity on the inside of the canal. It'll really end up pinching because it's no longer as elastic as it once was. So therefore it becomes more or less saggy in there. Everything looks pretty normal. I mean, I don't see anything that I would really consider a problem at this point in time.
No, I haven't had any, problem hearing or anything. But like I say, I like to take advantage of the free offers.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't even know what they do half the time. I know that there's this Mission 1 Million that we're doing right now. It's actually with about 75 plus other hospitals in the U.S. It's trying to really make a concerted effort to get people aware of how important hearing really is. It's definitely something. I was just at a seminar out in San Antonio where the cochlear implant is becoming a lot more rapidly increasing in popularity with the deaf community, and it's very, very uplifting, I guess would be the best way to put it, to see someone hear something for the first time.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Very interesting, very in depth with what they have to do and everything. So it's pretty profound. I mean, we take it for granted, obviously, what our hearing is, but if we didn't have it, I think things would be a lot more difficult. All right, so what I'm going to do with you is we're going to educate you, we're going to test you, and then we're going to figure out solutions if you need them, okay? So what I did is I actually worked in surgical procedures at the Cleveland Clinic before I started working in the audiology business, in the audiology field. One thing that we took very, very special care with is explain to our patients what we're doing. All right, I kind of transitioned that over to this practice because I want you to understand what I'm testing today. Okay, you haven't been tested in a long time, so take the time really to show you what we're going to be doing, so that when we see the results, you'll be better informed of what's going on. Okay? What this is going to be your basic audiogram. All right, I know it's not that exciting to look at. All right, but I figured maybe the blue and the red would make it a little bit more interesting. Focus on the frequencies. All right, the frequencies are units of measurements or hertz. All right, we have low pitches and high pitch frequencies. All right, just to give you a better idea, to picture keys on a piano. All right, low pitches are like the low keys on a piano, from 125 hertz to 1,000. All right, that's going to focus on men's voices, vowels, and background noise. All right. It's going to be the volume of speech, right, or the power behind speech. Right? It's going to focus on the A's, the E's, the I's, the O's, and the U sounds, right, all vowels. Upwards of 1,000 to 8,000 hertz is going to be the high frequencies, the high pitches, the high keys on the piano. Women and children's voices and consonant sounds are going to be in this area. All right? That's going to focus on the clarity of speech. All right? B's, T's, B's, F's, CH's, SH's. All right? High frequencies or clarity sounds, all right, are most likely going to be in the beginning and ending of a word. All right, like myself, I always tell patients the word church has a CH at the beginning and end of the word. All right, it has that power, the sound. Where you can make that as loud as you want it to. If I tried to make the CH sound any louder, I'd probably end up spitting on somebody, and nobody wants that. All right, so we want to make sure that we're showing you exactly where these sounds are occurring and why they're occurring in that area. Over here we have the hearing levels, all right, or the decibels. Right? 0 to 20 decibels is most likely where you're at. Okay, if you're having no problem, that is where you're going to be located. All right. Anywhere below that 20 marker, 25 to 85 decibels, is going to be the area where treatment is mostly needed. Okay. What that means is this area, okay, is where you begin to experience permanent loss. All right. Once you begin to experience that permanent loss, you can't get it back. All right. What ends up happening is when this loss occurs, there's a part of your brain, all right, it's called the 8th cranial nerve. All right. What that nerve does is it weakens, then it shrinks, all right, and then it atrophies. All right. What then happens, all right, obviously in that process, you can get your 8th cranial nerve back to where it needs to be when it weakens. All right. But when it starts to shrink and atrophy, that means that you're losing. Okay, and just like everything else, everything in our brains, it's like a muscle. Okay, so we want to make sure that we're stimulating those muscles. Once we get down to 85 and below, that's where it's definitely absolutely atrophy. All right, that's where further problems happen, like I talked about with my grandmother. Falling rate increases because you're not hearing properly out of your ears. You feel disoriented. Okay, as well as dementia and Alzheimer's starts to begin to set in. Right? They're very, very leading causes in hearing loss. Right? So I want to make sure we keep you out of here because actually treatment at that area is touch and go. It's questionable. Okay. Now, if you're in this area, you will be the only person who ever surprised me because I'm telling you right now that if you were in here, I would be practically yelling at you. So I have no worries about that, but I just like to explain it to you ahead of time, okay? So what I was explaining to you earlier, I know this is all the way across the room, so I'll just kind of bring this over for you guys. Kind of place this right here. All right, this is just a diagram of the human ear. All right, what we really like to talk about here, and this all has everything important that we need to kind of touch on. Volume, all right, is going to come in right through your ear. All right, this is an energy. All right, it's an acoustic energy. Acoustic energy comes in, it filters right through your ear, into the canals, right through your tympanic membrane or your eardrum. All right. Once sound filters through, it becomes a mechanical energy right inside. It's called the oscillating bones. All right. There's 3 of them. All right. The stapes, the incus, and the malleus are what they're called.
I'm going to remember all this.
Well, it's okay. I'm just going to explain it to you. You can take as much in as you want, all right? I like to explain this because this is something that's very important. It shows you how we actually hear. Because what a lot of patients don't realize is they think we just hear with our ears, but that's not true. We hear with our brains. Okay, if I don't explain this to you, then you're going to continue thinking we hear with our ears, and then you're going to leave here not completely educated like I would hope. So it's the big picture, not these little things I'm talking about. All right? So what happens is actually, all right, these are called semicircular canals. All right? What these do is they control balance. That's why I asked you about how your balance is. All right? Because again, this is really that area that controls all that. All right? What we really want to focus on is the other part of this. It's called the cochlea. All right, just like a cochlear implant. The cochlea takes all these signals and it turns it, all right, into a different form of energy because it's a liquid. All right, it's a chemical energy. And as you know, sound travels through liquid faster than it does through air. All right, maybe you didn't know that, but now you do. There are fibers inside here that those sounds brush upon. Okay, and that's how you hear certain sounds. Now, once that goes through, now this is where we get to the fun part. It's the cochlear nerve. All right, what this cochlear nerve does is that's what atrophies and shrinks over time. Because if this isn't brushing against those fibers, it's not stimulating through those nerves. All right, that nerve is just like a muscle. Obviously, just like with every muscle, if you don't use it, you lose it, right? The age-old saying. These nerves are binaural, okay, meaning they go from the right ear to the left cerebral cortex, vice versa, left to right. So that's why I asked you if you can hear out of one side better than the other, because it's not uncommon. Most likely one ear of yours is going to be a little bit better, but it's pretty close. All right. Once that sound travels through that cochlear nerve, all right, it affects 3 parts of our brain for the most part. All right. Obviously there's other parts, but these are the 3 largest sections. All right. First and foremost, you have the Broca's area, all right, which is right on the temporal lobe right here. All right. You have the Wernicke's area, which is on the frontal lobe, all right, and finally, you have the hippocampus, which is located on the occipital lobe, okay? What that ends up doing, okay, is the Broca's area is how much we comprehend sounds, all right? Me talking to you, you're understanding what I'm saying, maybe not all this, but our communication in general, you're understanding what I'm saying, you're taking what I'm saying to you, and you're processing it, all right? That's where your Broca's area in that temporal lobe is most directly affected. Wernicke's area, okay, is going to take sounds that you hear and put them together to make those sentences and make it so you can understand what I'm saying individually, all right? And finally, the hippocampus, all right, is going to control short-term and long-term memory. Right? The funny thing is actually that part of the brain, it looks like it's shaped like a seahorse, so they call it the seahorse of the brain. All right? You can impress all your friends by saying that.
Right.
I know, right? I do, and it works out pretty well. So, you know.
I'm sure. You say it often enough, I
I'm
guess.
telling you, I explained it enough times. I mean, I could recite this backwards, forwards, sideways. That seahorse of the brain really controls short-term and long-term memory. All right, that's where our onset dementia and Alzheimer's comes from, is because you are no longer remembering what you can't hear. All right, so again, that's something that we really want to go through with you.
Well, age doesn't have anything to do with not
remembering. Absolutely. And that kind of goes into what I was going to talk to you about next. Is in 2000, a laryngotomist, okay, somebody who does brain surgeries, okay, discovered that after the age of about 55, right, the human brain begins to shrink. Okay. What then happens is when you're not stimulating properly, you're going to be shrinking further. All right, and that's really what speeds the process along. All right, your brain actually has the capability of shrinking up to a cubic centimeter every year, which is about the size of a sugar cube. Right. So if you aren't hearing properly and you're not stimulating, your brain is shrinking. Okay, and that's what causes the issues more than anything. Receptors begin to malfunction; they begin to shut down. You develop scar tissue on your brain, and that's really what leads to these issues. It just you can absolutely get onset dementia and Alzheimer's without having a hearing loss, absolutely. I don't want you to think that it's just caused from hearing, but what it is it speeds the process along and it makes you much more susceptible to it. All right? So I know you probably didn't take all that in, but, you know, if you have any questions about any of this, I'd be more than happy to answer it for you, okay?
Not really.
Okay. So what we're going to do next is the fun part. We're going to put you in the time machine here. Alright. We're going to put you in the time machine. We're going to test your hearing, and we're going to see really where your hearing's at. Okay? I mean, I don't see there being an issue, but, you know, we'd better check just to be safe than sorry, huh?
Yeah.
Alright, so if you don't mind taking your glasses off for me, Teresa. I'm going to put you in the booth, and actually have your sister sit right here because I'm going to show her how I'm testing you. So you guys have any fun plans for the week?
A lot of appointments that I had to cancel.
From the winter?
My surgery
Oh.
and stuff. So,
You're
I'm
pretty
trying
busy,
to
huh?
fill them up now.
Hey, you know, do it while the weather's nice, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
All right.
Am I far enough away?
Yeah, oh, you are perfectly fine. All right, so we're going to test her here. Now, do you two live together?
No, we don't.
Oh, okay.
But we're both widows.
Okay.
She lives 5 miles away from me,
Oh, so it's not too bad.
but we're very close. So.
And that's always good to have someone close like that. My brother, he's a year older than I am, however, he lives all the way in Arkansas.
Oh, my.
Yeah, so he's a couple minutes drive away.
A little bit.
All right, Teresa, can you hear me okay? All right, well, hey, that's a good start. All I'm going to do today is really just take you through a basic test. Like I said, from the way it looks, I wouldn't be too worried. So what we're going to do is I'm going to test your right ear first and then go to your left. Whenever you hear a beep, such as this, yeah, unfortunately that is not a microphone, so we're not going to be doing any karaoke today, okay? All right, so what we want her is about around this 20 range right here. Do you? All right, all I want you to do is just repeat the words after the phrase, say the word, okay? Let's start with your right ear first. This is going to be important to see how much she's lost already, unfortunately. Okay, so for each word you miss, I'm going to correct you, okay? That third All right, I'm going to do something called bone conduction, so I'm going to be in there to adjust it in a second, okay? Press that button, okay? You might hear some static in this right ear. Just listen for the beep over the static. All right. Flipping around. Yeah, I know. I gotta get around that mastoid bone in the back. All right, same thing with this side, okay? There we go. Print this out. Take everybody through what's going on here. Here. All right. You made it. No problem. Alright, come on out of there. Watch your step. When my grandmother came out of this one time, she took a little bit of a tumble.
Well, I'm used to holding on lately.
Alright. Give me 1 second. I will be right back, okay?
Now I guess it's stretched or whatever in there. It closed or something. Nobody said something about it.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over these results with you. Okay. So this is what I see here. I'm going to transpose what I explained to you here right onto this. So that's your hearing loss. All right. First and foremost, it's a pretty significant one. I guess my question to you is, why haven't you gotten the test sooner than this?
I never had any problem.
Okay. It's definitely at the point now where, you're falling pretty considerably down this list. All right. The round parts are the right, the X's are the left, so your right ear is a little bit better than your left. And you are experiencing some significant losses. Okay. Normal communication levels are at about 40 decibels. Where you need it to hear properly at is at the 80 and 70 marker. Okay, about double the amount that you really need. All right. A lot of patients don't realize that it's going on because, again, it's something that, once one of our senses begins to die down, our other senses pick up the slack for it. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to do some extra testing for this. All right. But what we really don't want to happen is what's happening right down here is to fall down in this area of really questionable helping. All right. This is the kind of loss that relates to onset dementia and Alzheimer's. All right. So again, I want to kind of take you through really what's going on. All right. So what we're going to do is, if you don't mind coming over on this side of the room, we're going to read you some words, Teresa. I want to see how well you do. Oh, Sophie, yeah, come on.
Oh.
It is Sophie, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so you're going to do kind of similar to what I did when she was in the booth before.
How could that be corrected with,
I don't know yet. I don't know yet, just because, again, it could be a surgical issue, it could be a medical issue, it could be a device issue.
with the one loss that she said was, what was it, your left ear where it was flattening or something?
Yeah, that's what he told me.
Oh, are you
One
talking
canal.
about the elasticity or collapsed?
Yeah.
No, it's happening in both.
Oh.
It's something that's a normal occurrence.
Oh, okay.
It's not something that is really too cause for concern. What I want you to do is, before every word, I want you to repeat, say the word. Okay, so if this first word wasn't that, it was cat, you're going to put the clipboard over your face and you're going to repeat, say the word cat. Okay? If you'll say cat, Teresa, you'll get 10 right.
Cat.
And then we'll be in good shape, yeah. Okay, so I want you to do this one word at a time. Each word, if she misses one, I want you to stop, and we're going to lower the clipboard, and you're going to repeat the word again.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh.
Put the clipboard over your face.
Oh, for her not to read.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to repeat, say the word.
Oh, okay. Elf.
Elf.
Okay, time out, though, because you're already doing it wrong.
Okay.
Say the word. When you said that, you're going to say the word elf.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Say the word corpse.
Corpse.
Put the clipboard down, repeat the word to her. Oh, clipboard down. Clipboard down. And repeat that second word to her.
Say the word corpse.
Corpse.
Mm-hmm. Okay, clipboard back up.
Say the word carve.
Carve.
Say the word clasp.
Clasp.
Now, do you always yell at her when you talk to her like this?
No.
Okay, well, can you just say it, do it at a normal level?
Okay. Say the word fifth. Say the word knees.
Knees.
Say the word pew.
Pew.
So clipboard down, repeat that word to her.
Okay. Say the word pew.
Pew.
Say the word thin.
Thin.
Lower your voice. Okay, you like this.
I know.
We need you
Well,
to
she's
talk
hard of
like
hearing. She wears
Yeah.
hearing aids, so we
Yeah.
talk loud back and forth. So
Yeah. Say the word ease.
ease.
Say the word sin.
Sin.
Clipboard down.
Skin.
Say the word sin.
Sin.
Okay, so you missed 4 words there out of 10 in a quiet environment. Now we're going to mix things up a little bit. I'm going to add some background noise to the mix now. And I want to see how well you do with background noise on. Because 60% in a room that's environmental friendly isn't that great. Especially when she's yelling at you. Maybe that's why you think you're doing all right. And it's really a cause for concern because, again, if you don't know about this, I mean, nobody's ever told you.
Like I say, I never had problem hearing on the phone or anywhere.
Okay. So this is some background noise I'm adding in. I want you to read this next list right here.
Say the word cat.
Cat.
Clipboard down.
Say the word tax.
Tax.
Say the word tea.
Tea. Another one.
Clipboard down.
Say the word tea.
Tea.
Joe, just yelling at you again?
She's good at finishing out the word.
Say the word chase.
Chase.
Say the word pot.
No idea.
Clipboard down.
Say the word pot.
Pot.
Just singular pot.
Pot.
Say van.
Van.
Clipboard down.
Say the word fast.
Fast.
Say the word cheese.
Cheese.
Clipboard down.
Say the word cheese.
Cheese.
Say the word feet.
Feet.
Say the word fist.
Fist.
Thought you had that one.
Say the word fist.
Fist.
Say the word space.
Face.
Say the word space.
Face.
Say the word lift.
Lift.
Say the word list.
List.
Okay. Well, how many did she get right there?
1, 2.
2? Which one did she get right?
Feet and chase.
Feet and chase. So that's just with an average amount of background noise, like if you're at a restaurant or something. Right? So, I mean, you can't tell me that, I mean, when you go out in the public, that you aren't having problems.
I'm not. We go out to eat about once a month. There's a group of us ladies, and I never have trouble
Yeah,
hearing.
there's a lot of noise with that.
Yeah.
Well, how did that just happen then?
I don't know. That's what I said. I cannot understand how I'm missing so much. Because people talk to me on the phone and I can hear everything they say.
Do you have any kids?
I have 3.
You have 3? What do your kids tell you?
I told you, Mom. If I say, why didn't you tell me, or they'll say, well, you didn't tell me that. Yes, I did, know. But I talk to them all the time, and they never complain that they can't hear me or understand me.
No, not that they can't hear you. Can you hear them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, really.
Okay. I mean, I can just go by what evidence I have here, and the evidence I have here is not only in quiet, you missed 4 out of 10 words.
Yeah.
But in background noise, you missed 8. I mean, it doubled.
Yeah. Now, when I told my daughter that I was coming, and she said, well, or speak up or anything.
It's just, things like these do concern me. All right, because again, a lot of the time, I mean, even in a group of people, like I said, you have your different areas that once some of your senses begin to diminish, other ones raise. All right? You did very well when she put the clipboard down and she repeated the word to you.
Yeah.
All right? And I'm not saying that you are lip reading, but it's a very good possibility. Okay?
No, I hear it better, like the pronunciation.
Mm-hmm.
I'll blame her.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure she pronounced the same word both times. I hope so.
Yeah, either that or one was louder than the other.
Mm.
Maybe.
All right, well, what we are going to do is we are going to try to put in some devices and see if we get a better result. I mean, it's going to be really the case in point.
I mean, I don't have a wax buildup in there? No?
No, the way you would have wax build up is once I did bone conduction,
Uh-huh.
okay, these little bone conductor scores would have been way up, higher. But since they're in line with all of your other hearing, that tells me that there isn't any bone conduction.
Oh.
I mean, your wax looks completely normal in there.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going to do is we're going to put these devices in. When we put these in, things are going to sound a lot different than what you're used to. Okay? That's actually going to be a good thing. The reason that it's going to sound different is because, again, we're going to be stimulating that nerve inside your ear, and it's something that you aren't going to be used to at first. Just detect these here. So how old are your kids, and do they live around the area?
Well, my son's a chaplain in the Navy. He's in Virginia Beach right now.
Oh, just living the good life in
Yeah.
Virginia Beach, huh?
Yeah.
Is he married?
No, he's a Catholic priest.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I have one daughter
And he
in...
left Hawaii after 3 years.
Yeah, he was in Hawaii for 3 years. Weeks of...
Oh, must have been nice.
Yeah. And my older daughter lives in Trafford, and my younger daughter's in Virginia.
Oh, so you got two. I was just in Virginia Easter weekend, as a matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
She's been in Virginia about 23 or 24 years already.
Where in Virginia?
South Riding. I don't know. It's near Fairfax, around there.
So yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a drive to get out there then.
Yeah. 4.5, 5 hours.
Mm-hmm. I was out in Richmond and Fredericksburg.
Oh, okay.
And, it was so nice. So I went fishing with a friend out there. It was really nice out there on Easter weekend, let me tell you.
Oh, okay.
But, not a bad drive either. For 4 hours, I mean, it's practically all highway.
Yeah. My daughter lives closer to D.C.
D.C.?
Yeah.
Oh, the traffic out there is terrible.
Oh, I know. That's when my granddaughter started driving. I thought, now I got something else to worry about.
You know, and I figured out what the problem is. It's not that all the people in Virginia are bad drivers. It's just that most of the people in Virginia are gawkers.
Oh, yeah.
So when they see a car on the side of the road changing their tires, they all slow down and have to check it out. And I realized that after about the third stop-and-go traffic jam that I found myself in.
Do I need to take my earring off?
No.
No.
Our oldest daughter was 92 when she passed away, and she was in a nursing home. She would be at the end of the hall and hear a pin drop.
Mm-hmm. Spin around for me. Did she have hearing aids, you say, or no?
Did that one?
Did she wear hearing aids?
No.
Oh, she could just hear that well?
Yeah.
She was terrific, I'll tell you.
Well, that's what kind of made me a little curious about everything, is because usually hearing loss is hereditary.
And then I guess the last year and a half, then it was dementia.
I'm sure.
At 92, then I think you lived your life.
Yeah, not too bad. So you're going to hear a echo or like a tunnely sound, like you're in a tunnel here. All right. How's my voice sound right now?
A little louder.
Like a little bit of an echo to it? All right, good.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to read these 10.
Okay.
Put the clipboard, and I don't want you to talk as loud.
Okay.
I want you to bring it down, and if you start getting louder, I'm gonna tell you to take a deep breath. Okay.
Okay. What was it?
Say the words. Say the words.
Oh, say the word hand.
Hand.
Say the word peach.
Peach.
Don't emphasize.
That.
Say the word oil.
Oil.
Now, see, I wish you were talking like that for the first time.
No.
All right, we're gonna add some background noise on.
Say the word brisk.
Brisk.
Say the word face.
Face.
Say the word leaf.
Leaf.
Oh, put the clipboard down and repeat that last one.
Say the word. Say the word leaf.
Leaf.
Say the seat. Say the word leaf.
Oh, repeat that one.
Say the word leaf.
Leaf.
Say the word. Say the word witch.
Witch.
Say the word place.
Place.
All right. So how did she do? So with you having.
Yeah, but you marked this one that, and she did say that one.
Oh, did?
Yeah.
Oh, I must have marked the wrong one. Okay. Which one?
I
Oh,
think
okay.
there were two that.
Yeah, you
I
missed
missed.
2.
Yeah.
You missed 2. Compared to 8. All right. Not only was she, and I mean, I don't know if you can tell me this, that you noticed that you did this as well. You weren't yelling it like you were the last time. You were talking a lot lower.
Yeah.
And she wasn't emphasizing the words like you were the first time. Okay? And I wanted to do that because I wanted to challenge you. Okay? When she sat here and she said to you, say the word tax. All right? And you still missed it. The second ride around, she said, say the word tax. All right? And you did much better. And you've only had these in for 10 minutes, maybe. All right? The thing that I want you to realize is not that you had terrible hearing before these hearing aids, all right, or these devices. The thing I want you to realize is that how much more they're going to be helping you. Okay? And there's no bag of tricks. I'm not trying to fool you in anything. I just wanted you to see with different words and different settings where you might be having some issues, where you might be having some troubles. Okay, I mean.
See, but I haven't been. So that's what I can't understand now. Why?
A lot of the times, I mean, it's something that happens so slowly that not many patients realize that it's even happening. All right, you aren't the only patient that didn't realize they had a hearing loss. All right, yours is pretty significant too. A lot more significant than a lot of patients that don't realize that they had a hearing loss. Okay. With these, I mean, it's going to be some rehabilitation that will have to take place. I know right now it sounds pretty loud, okay, but this is where 100% your hearing was. This is what you heard like when you were 20 years old, okay? Now, granted, you're not going to have the same results as when you were 20 years old because you've lost a lot. All right, you've lost. All right. She swore up and down that she heard perfectly fine, but she didn't. Okay, and that's how a lot of patients are. That's why we urge people to come in and get their hearing screened every year. because, I mean, everything can relate to it. I mean, diabetes, cardiology health can become a big issue, right? Because those nerves inside your ear are very sensitive, right? You're susceptible to different medications that can hurt your hearing. Right? What we're going to do is we're going to go out in the hallway and we're going to ask her some questions. We're really going to test her on this.
Okay.
All right? So if you just come with me, just stay seated right here for us, and we'll be right back, okay?
Okay.
Teresa, what did you have for breakfast?
I had cereal, half a banana, and a piece of toast.
Why don't you come to the chair for me, Sophie?
Back here, over here.
Yeah. Yeah, you've been my great assistant today, I'll tell you.
I almost didn't come. So I'm glad I did come.
I'm glad you did as well.
No, I just got over pneumonia.
Oh, my grandmother had that. I'm telling you, it's terrible. She had it for weeks.
Well, I know my
She had it for a
daughter-in-law
while.
had it 5 weeks. Well, it's already 2 weeks for me, but,
Jeez,
I just drank water and water and water. And
oh, you gotta flush it out. I'm telling you, you just gotta flush it out of there.
You know, it's so funny. After my surgery, I stayed at her house for 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And every time she'd go on, because she has a good piece to go to get the papers in the morning and her mail. And all she had on was like her sweatshirt plus a vestie. And I used to say, "You're going to catch pneumonia." And she said, "It's not that cold out here." So now I feel that I brought it on for her.
You see that?
No.
No, so you were that breath of fresh air is what it was.
Yeah.
You were telling her what was going to happen.
Yeah, but didn't expect that to happen.
Oh,
but
no.
she made quite a few trips out there.
Oh, I'm sure. Now, did you have to go to your doctors and get some antibiotics and everything?
Yes, but then before that, I was preparing to go to my grandson's wedding, and I fell. I
Oh.
tripped over a broomstick, and I hurt.
Yeah.
I guess I never did, but I mean,
I usually get it about once a year.
I don't even catch a cold. Not that I'm bragging, but boy, it's March and April, forget it. I'm tearing them off the calendar.
Just tear them off and just forget about those 2 months.
That's right.
So, Teresa, I mean, do you have any idea where Sophie was standing when she was talking to you?
Well, I kept hearing you say, "Move down a little."
She was in my associate's office around the corner, and you heard her just fine.
Yeah.
Okay. That is what really excites me.
Yeah.
All right. When I see how well you are able to do you have any questions for me?
I still can't understand. I'm serious. Because I never had trouble hearing anything before.
But you just come in this room and you miss.
I know,
These words.
I know, but people don't usually hold up a board in front of me to talk to me.
Well, she held up the board with your hearing aids in, and you did just fine.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really my concern that I have is a lot of patients. I mean, when they are in denial of what's happening, all right, they'll say the same thing to me. Say, "Well, I can't believe this is happening." I understand you can't believe it's happening because you didn't come in expecting this to be the result.
No.
I understand that. All right.
Well, no, when we're alone, she's really talking normal. You know, I picked her up and we drove up here, and I heard everything she said. She wasn't yelling or, you know.
I do have a high-pitched voice, though.
Well, probably worse because you won't be screaming at her this time.
No.
All right. I mean, I don't know what other evidence I can put in front of you to tell you that this is something that just was a second ago and tries to say something to you with your hearing aids out. But you're going to be able to understand that. All right. I mean, I'm positive that you will. And that's really the case is. And that's where, I mean, if you have any questions for me, I mean, this is the time to ask. I mean, just because you didn't notice something wasn't there doesn't mean that it's not there. I mean, answer me.
Decide and wait.
Yeah.
You know, I think
I mean-
that's probably what she wants to do.
Talk it over with my kids.
I forgot my other earring.
Okay.
Can you imagine?
Well, here's what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call you in about 24 to 48 hours. Okay, I want you to do this for me now. Right? I don't want you to look at Sophie when she talks to you. I want you to go on the phone and talk to your kids, and I want you to ask each one of them tonight if they notice that you're having a hearing problem. All right, and I don't want you to have your phone volume all the way up to the full maximum.
It's just normal.
Okay. And I want you to else is going to a year from now. All right, it's going to be worse. It's going to be an issue to where really taking care of the problem isn't going to be as efficient as it would have been today. Okay, but I can't help you if you're still, if you don't believe me. All right? I'll be there now for you. Take the necklace off here too. There we go. All right. So. Fill out some paperwork for you, and then we'll get you guys going. All right. Like I said, I'm glad that you came in today. I think it's a lot of information that you had to take in.
I don't know if I am or not.
You don't know if you are or not what?
Happy that I came in
Oh.
today. You know, when you're perfectly well and you don't have any, say, major health problems,
Mm-hmm.
you're not willing to accept when something comes up. Because I know with my heart, I had trouble, like walking. I always walked fast. Well, then it came to a point where I would huff and puff a little, you know. And every time my doctor, when he would check me, he would hear something, and he said, "Are you sure you're not having?" I said, "No, when I walk, I always walk fast. If I go up the steps, it's going up and down fast." And I said, "I'm attributing it to that." Well, then when they took an echo and saw how bad everything was, then you realize, I guess I'm not so good off here.
Oh, so this isn't the first time that you haven't thought anything's wrong and something else has been. That's not a problem. Like I said, it's definitely something to where, I mean, Teresa, honestly, I mean, you just have to get over the fact that there are things that are going to go wrong with you over time. I mean, denial is one of the worst things that you can have, especially if something is seriously wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, that if you hadn't taken that man's advice, it could have been a lot worse than just a heart surgery. I mean, if you hadn't gone in to get that MRI and everything. So like I said, that's a good thing that you did that. Right, but that's why I have over 100,000 patients that I work with, is because we're taking care of a lot of people and we're doing it the right way. All right, and that's really the thing that you have to understand, is that I wouldn't be telling you this unless I absolutely. God bless you.
Thank you.
How do you feel now when you go up steps? You feel a lot better?
I'm getting there.
Still getting a little tired at times?
Slowing down a little.
Yeah.
I just started cardio rehab, so
Did you do any water aerobics or anything?
no.
change from 2 to 8 out of 10. Pretty large change there. I guess my last question for you is just, being that I'm a little confused here, what is it about these results that you don't believe?
Well, I believe them. I just can't understand it.
Okay.
Why I've not had any problem at all hearing anybody or anything.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is, I can only explain it by telling you, it's right in front of us.
Yeah.
I mean, even when you went out in the hallway, all this information has been put right in front of us.
Yeah. Oh,
I guess that was my question, is I'm a little confused by that, dear.
Even like my grandson, when they're talking to me on the phone or something, they've never said what or I haven't said what did you say or anything.
Do they talk fast, especially the younger kids talk real fast now?
Well, Tad doesn't. Tad is real.
So did you realize that you've asked me to repeat myself several times today?
No.
Okay. That might be the issue, right? One of the things I said is when I was asking you about questions for one-on-one conversations, you said, what? And I repeated myself. It really confuses me. And I get confused every so often because a patient like you will come along that is completely surprised by the situation, but because they're so surprised and they're so taken aback that they don't even think about ways that could improve it. Really what surprises me is most of my patients that do as well as you did, they go from 2 to 10 or 2 to 8 out of 10. That's a pretty significant change. All right?
Well, I said I'll blame it on her the way she pronounced. I'll look for a note.
I understand.
Personal denial.
Yeah, and if that's the case, I can't help you. So, that's really how it is. If it's impersonal denial, I wish I could help you.
Yeah.
But I think that's something that you need to get over.
I know it wasn't her fault.
Now she's giving you the business. She's putting you under the bus.
I accept it.
Yeah, I guess. Believe it.
Well, I recommend that you accept that sooner than later.
Yeah.
Because 8 out of 10 in background noise isn't bad. All right, it's pretty good. All right, but that's going to be the issue. Is it's not going to be that good for long. With you, saying that you're scared. Absolutely. It's a new thing that you're going to have to do the rest of your life. You're going to have to put devices in every single day. All right, but those Roca that hit the campus at Seahorse. I know you remember the Seahorse.
Yeah.
Those areas are going to continue to shrink. All right, and that's the biggest problem. It's not that what you're hearing; it's what you're really understanding. If you want to wait 6 months, I can't tell you what to do. All right, but 6 months, you're going to be in a worse position than you are today. And if that's something that you want to do, she's just trying to get stuck all night. She's trying to suck as much time out of this.
I don't blame her. But you know what else, though? Financially, if she would have to purchase, because then less $1,000 at the.
Well, that's with $1,000 taken off.
Okay.
It's going to be $3,595 total.
Yeah.
There's payment plans that we do have for you. Okay, that about 95% of my patients do. All right. Now, with that being said, again, this is a situation where everything else after that initial payment is taken care of. Okay, you don't have to pay co-pays for appointments or anything. That's all included in that initial price.